Ted Cruz is out there saying things differently in Iowa than he's saying Manhattan, I think that's problematic. I think it's problematic that he's against the ethanol standards, which would put 75,000 Iowans out of work. The real problem in this race, corporately funded candidates who, no matter what they say in their speeches, when they get to office, they're going to do just what the Democrats and Republicans have always done. They're going to dance the dance of the donors.
Why have you been so outspoken in calling Cruz out, Ted Cruz out, for flip-flopping on issues? Isn't there room for people to change? Or do you see a pattern here that's troubling?
Well, I think it's certainly appropriate when people change over a period of time. You know, maybe people have a view in their 20s and they change in their 40s, or they're a view in their 40s, they change when they're 50s or 60s. But when you change, not so much in a timeline, but geographically. If you say one thing to people in Manhattan and another thing to people in Marshalltown, Iowa, whether it's about marriage or whether it should be a state or a federal issue regarding, you know, the marriage laws or the sanctity of life, what I think is problematic is changing, for example, on the trade bill. Mm-hmm. Ted Cruz was definitely for the trade bill, wrote an editorial in the Wall Street Journal earlier this year with Mike Lee, how great it was. And then when conservatives rallied against it, then he decided he wasn't for it after all. Well, you can lawyer that all you want to, but at some point you have to own up that you changed your position, not because you grew into a different one, but because you made a political calculation. And if he's done that with H-1B visas, if he's done it with immigration, Syrian refugees, with marriage, with a host of issues like trade, then at some point you say, wait a minute, why does a person have a different view depending on the geography of where he's standing as opposed to just stating this position? And that's what I've said. Look, I've been on the Bill Maher show. I've been on Jon Stewart's Daily Show many times. I take exactly the same positions when I'm on those shows as if I'm speaking in a church or with a group of pastors. Mm-hmm. Same position. I just like consistency.
Governor Huckabee, speaking of consistency, I'm noticing a lot of religious attacks. They're being leveled back and forth to multiple candidates, whether it's Marco Rubio, he was a Mormon for a while, and then he reverted to Catholicism, but he goes to an evangelical church, to, you know, Trump. I've seen some Catholic groups and two pro-life groups attacking Donald Trump, simply saying he's unacceptable. Do you consider him unacceptable, morally speaking, on this issue of life, because in days gone by, he has stated a pro-choice position. Now he claims to be, quote, 100% pro-life.
Yeah, and I'm going to take him at his word because I've heard his explanation. And when people pull up video, and Cruz is running a very harsh video against Trump about this. Mm-hmm. It goes back, I think, 15 years or so. But when you hear Trump talk about his view on abortion, it's one that has changed. But he describes that it happened as he began to better understand not only the science, but a family member of his, when he saw the sonogram, understood more about the point of life. And that's why I'm saying I think people can change over 20 years, but it's when they change over 20 minutes that I start worrying about it.